All right, so I wanted to create a follow-up video to the Battle Yak brag mat. Now, what is it? It's basically an in-between a hard fish measure and your traditional rollout mat. Now, why is that something that I feel is really important? Because, look, hard fish measures are great. Like, you want to get an accurate reading of your fish, especially if you're keeping it for legal reasons. But the idea of a hard fish measure is fantastic. It's easy, you can sit it on your lap, you're going to get a good measure. It's also curved, so the fish sits in it very well, so it's less likely it's going to flop out. But the problem is, if you're using a small kayak or you just don't have a lot of space in general, those hard fish measures, they don't change size. You can't easily pack that away. Now, if you've got a big kayak, probably not an issue. But when you've got a small kayak, it does become an issue straight away. And that's where you'd probably be like, oh, I'll just use a traditional brag mat. You know, these ones just roll out. The problem is, if you want to get a good measure, you're not really going to do it very well on your lap. And you're also not really going to be able to do it well on the floor unless your floor of the kayak is absolutely flat. Again, you might not have a lot of room going, crosswise. So you end up measuring them lengthwise. And the problem with that, again, you're not going to have a flat bottom. It's going to be hard to get an accurate reading or even a photo if you're in a competition, because that number's going to be out because the mat's going to be all skewed and all that kind of stuff. They are fantastic and they're small, but again, you want to get an accurate measure. Now, the other thing too, this is a longer mat. It does have one of these little hard stops there, but this is actually lighter and relatively about the same size. Like it's you could much for muchness. Now with these ones, these Battle Yak brag mats, they fold up and they turn into like a hard measure. And look, so you got your little trough where your fish can sit in, do all your measure, and all you have to do is you just pull these two sides apart, you just push them like that, and the whole thing just folds up. That's fantastic. I loved it. I think it's a great product. I had one issue, and you can probably see it right now, is because of the mechanism that this bungee cord that pulls these two little end pieces together to create the shape, so that this bungee cord was a bit tight, and they actually had like a locking mechanism, which you can see is these two stoppers here. So those two there, and they're usually right at the end. But what I found before I'd even used it, the glue that's holding these down, because these are just glued, the actual big bits of here are actually pinned in with some screws, that was slipping. So this bungee cord normally goes over it, so over these, and it was just pulling them off. And look, it wasn't a showstopper for me. I still think it's a great mat even without that, but I thought I'd give the feedback to them. So I gave the feedback and they were like, hey, yeah, we know it's an issue. This is, a first generation thing and we're working on a fix. And what they did is they came up with a fix, which they've sent me free of charge. And this should resolve the issue, and it's looking pretty good. And it should only take a few minutes to actually do. Knowing me, I'm probably going to break something. It's going to take more than a few minutes, but the idea is this is a pretty easy upgrade to the existing system, and it'll be a lot better in the long run. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to put this together and see how we go. But the really big call out for me, besides, this is a great system, I quite like it. We'll have to see how the longevity goes, because it's just core flute. But again, super light, works pretty well. I don't really have any issues with seeing it like breaking down super easy, besides what happened with the bungee cord that was a bit too tight. So yeah, look, I think it's great that these companies are, Aussie companies, Aussie made. They're admitting to the issues and they're working with their customers to make it better. So let's go and get stuck into this and see if we can complete the upgrade. Alright, so first things first, we're going to get these things off, which use a screwdriver. I actually sent a video out on how to do this. I did give it a quick watch, but I don't think you really need it, to be honest. That's that old one off. So it's just like a simple glue. It's probably like a pressure adhesive sort of thing, which is pretty standard stuff, right? Get off you. Trying to get under that without damaging the core flute. So now it's actually pretty solid. So maybe it just didn't have enough curing time when I got it. Oh, there we go. But yeah, like pretty easy to pull off. I'll have to see how these corners go. They're pretty bent with these clips here. Let me just check that before I get right into this. This is the package they've sent. which includes some super glue. Cover my face here. See if you can see the super glue. Just some cheapo super glue, whatever, does the job. It's all the same. These little plastic end pieces, which kind of look like they're 3D printed. Pretty awesome. And then we have a replacement bungee, which feels like it's got a lot more flex in it. It's definitely not as tight. It's a little bit thinner as well, which I think will be a bit nicer. Alright. Let's just see how these are going to go over the edges. So this has to go this way. Just kind of clips over the top there. Just got to get that alignment right. So basically you put a little bit of super glue along here and you clip this on. Just trying to make sure it doesn't go over your center line. See how this goes here. See if this still works with the current mat on there. A bit of movement there, that's alright. Yeah, I think that's looking pretty good. So it seems like it will be as easy of a fix as they say. Next thing, you got to get these screws out. Now they are square drive, and probably not everyone has square drive bits. Highly recommend in general if you don't have one of these like Stanley kits that have dropping these everywhere. You got your hex screw, your torque screw, square drives, all kinds of stuff in there. These are super handy, and they do come with a little tool. But I recommend getting like a magnetic extension or something, so you don't have to do what I'm doing here with this, just getting that tiny little bit in there. But yeah, they're really handy, super handy to have. They're pretty affordable. So let's get these things out, because that's going to happen. See, this is why. I do have a magnetic bit somewhere, but I just couldn't be stuffed getting it out. Screw number 1. Screw number 2. And now I've got to get this thing off. They just pry off, apparently. Get under there. But this is the thing, right? Like, I did mention to them about this. Is I could just glue it back on, and it'd probably be fine with some harder glue. But again, it was kind of tearing up the edges as well. Just gotta take your time with this kind of stuff, especially this glue. You just got to slowly peel it away, and it will eventually come up. Just try not to wreck the delaminate the brag mat. That was a bit easier. I should have just done that in the first place. I think I got most of the glue off, which is good. Still a little bit of strip on there. First things first, what I'll do, what they recommend was doing this end first. So this is probably really awkward. I've never done one of these on the screen before, but so bear with me. So that's got to go on this side, because basically when this folds up, this will sit here, and then that bungee will go over the top. Alright, so let's kind of get that sorted. Just need a little bit of this glue, super glue. Just have a piercer on it, yes. Okay. I'm just going to put a little bit on. I'll do this edge first. Don't need a lot. Whoa, they come out pretty quick. Don't need a lot on this. You really need a little bit. Just stick this on here. Alright. Try not to get super glue on me. So that's not fun. Alright. Another bit on here. And you don't need a lot of this stuff. Super glue is pretty solid. It's not like you need like a 2-part epoxy or anything like that. Alright, so that's on there. A little bit of super glue on me. Better go clean that up before it dries too much. Alright, so that's that stuff on. Looks like it's pretty good. Just quickly check, see if it's still going to actually bend, which it will, which is good. Yep, that's good. Alright, now, while that's drying, they do say wait 24 hours. So basically, these blocks have to now go on here, that over there, and that one over here. They just stick down. It's just self-adhesive, a little bit of pressure. See how that goes. Not the greatest light to do this in, but anyway. Pretty easy. This is already feeling way better. Just hope that kind of wants to pull up a bit. I feel like I should have done like at different times. I feel like we maybe need to pin that down or something. Just a little bit of a hold. It's not too bad of a solution, but it definitely is lifting up on one side. I might have to get one of the clamps, some of my clamps out to kind of just hold that together. But that's pretty much it. That's the upgrade done. So I just got to wait for the super glue to dry, and I'll just pin these ends down, and should be good in 24 hours, ready to go. So pretty straightforward upgrade, easy to do. I'm looking forward to using this upgrade in the future, and we'll just see how it goes next time I'm out in the water. So stay tuned for that little update. Alright, that's me done. Time for bed. Catch us later. Bye.